All right, we got 12 minutes that's left on this SD card, and we're just gonna try to wing it. Where do I start? What's going on, YouTube? It's been probably a good couple weeks. Lots happened. I'm trying to just think of where even to start. We're currently 6 days out from our first bodybuilding show ever, and it's feeling real. Like it's cool to just the different mix of emotions that have come up these last couple of days, leading up to the show. And I think, just kind of starting off where we left off, like with the last video, I believe I was like 4 or 5 weeks out. Maybe I was 6. But that was just where it was starting to kind of get real as far as like really pushing for fat loss. And, mentally it started to really take a toll over the last couple weeks. And I think I just kind of realized a lot of things over these last couple weeks when it came to just things to learn, like learning moments, maturing a lot as a bodybuilder and as a man, as well as just like, I would say maturing a lot for sure, through just different experiences, learning more about my body and how it's responding. Because we had, to kind of start back where we were, it was like we started, I believe, some of the fat burners, lipolytics. So we added in T3 and T4 into the equation, which is thyroid hormone for those who don't know. T3 is the active thyroid hormone. T4 is what converts into T3, and it's stimulated by the pituitary gland. So then it's converted into T3, which is the active thyroid hormone, which regulates your metabolism, right? So we introduced that not as a fat burner, but more just to upregulate the metabolism, because as you diet down and calories get really low, your metabolism naturally just drops because your body, it's a survival mechanism. So we implemented that, and we also implemented a Clen and Yohimbe like injectable mix. It's called Helios. We did like 1 ml of that, so it was 50 micrograms of Clen, and then it was 5 milligrams of Yohimbe, I believe. And we used that for cardio. But I think where it really started to take a kind of a toll was about 4 and 5. I would say 3 to 5 weeks out was kind of like 5 to 3 weeks out was where I would say 5 to 2 weeks out was really where like the pushing was. We did a couple weeks where we pushed really low on calories, like sub 2,000 calories, which was just a big drop. Like my body just wasn't used to eating that low of food. And mentally it was just like that combined with cardio going way up, over like an hour. And obviously like there's people that will be doing, an hour and a half, 2 hours of cardio. So like, it's nothing for me to complain about it, but it's definitely a new thing I wasn't adjusted to. I just took some getting used to, and definitely like mentally was something that I wasn't used to, and it brought me into a new mindset, where eventually I just stopped like really caring about like anything. I was just getting it done. I was just kind of just like execute, just get it done so that I can just not, and I wasn't thinking too ahead. That was the other thing too, is like in prep, you can get very ahead of yourself and think, oh, when are we gonna be done? When are we gonna be done? Like, when's the next high day? And it was just really like, okay, like I had to put myself in a mindset of, let me just execute this one day at a time, this one task at a time, literally down to the minute of just getting it done. Because when you just look ahead, it can put you in a very bad headspace, and it almost, I would say, because I've done it before and within the prep, and I had to learn really quickly just like to focus on one thing at a time, to keep myself busy. That's one thing I wish I would have done a little better job of looking back. But yeah, it was definitely like probably one of the most challenging periods I've ever gone through with any sport. Like this sport is 24/7, 365. Like it's, what I talk about in the off season, it's like the same sort of execution in the off season as it is in prep. But prep, it just gets more of that mental, like the physical mental side. Whereas I feel like the off season, or sorry, prep is a lot more physical, like effort that is being exhausted, and it gets very physically hard, and that's where some of the mental sides can kind of come in, especially as you introduce different compounds. Whereas I feel like off season is a lot more like mental, because you see yourself maybe getting a little bit, chunkier than you were like in prep, or you're just putting on a little more body fat than you're used to. You're having to push up to new weights, and it's like kind of mentally hard, especially with the eating part for some people. I used to struggle with that too, but anyway, within prep, like I think the other aspect going back to the mental side was like, with the other drugs being introduced, like I talked about tren in the last video, and how I felt like I was responding pretty decently as far as just like the mental like sides go. And I think I definitely noticed, about 5 weeks in, probably about 5 weeks into using tren, you kind of just start to notice like there's almost like this negative like energy that's just kind of around you. Like you could have the perfect day, like it could be sunny outside, like everyone can be nice to you, like you could have an awesome session at the gym, but you just kind of feel like this just dark cloud over your head. And that's kind of what I noticed mainly from tren, especially as we bumped up the doses. I didn't really experience a lot of, insomnia or night sweats, a little bit like kind of recently, but it's not been like crazy of what I hear some people experience. Actually, I want to just check where we are as far as time. We have 5 minutes. Okay. Well, this is going to be a shorter video, but I just kind of want to give you guys an update, and, I think just what I realized about tren is just like, I think it's great for, I think, acute periods of time within contest prep. Would I ever run it in the off season? I don't know, maybe, but I really just think it's something that I don't really love. It's not like a drug that I'm going to be using, at least I feel like until I absolutely need to use it again. And that's why I don't even know if I would use it in the off season. Just because I think the mental sides, it adds it really quickly after about 4 weeks, is what I've noticed for myself personally. And from like other guys I've talked to, the same thing. It's a kind of more of a duration thing, and the dosage a little bit, but I feel like a lot of it is duration because, we did bump up dosage, like I think week 2. So it was like, all right, we had a higher dosage in for 3-4 weeks, and I didn't really notice anything until like about week 5. So that's been my experience on tren. I'm excited to kind of be off of it after the next couple of days. We're gonna cut injectables, I believe, at 4 or 5 days out, which will be nice. I'm excited for that. We cut out test a couple of days ago, but yeah, overall, just like that was probably the mentally most challenging aspect of prep was until about 2 weeks out. And I think we finally, once we got to that point where it was like we found a good look and got to a couple new lows, like at about 2 weeks out, we kind of started to bring calories back up to a little bit higher than they were. Training performance got a little bit better. And mentally, I felt a little bit better as well. And we did a big refeed this last week. Got to like 223 pounds. So it was pretty wild to see like how full I got. It was like leaner weight. Like it was contest prep lean, but where my previous off-season weight was. So that was super cool. But yeah, overall, I would just say like my kind of wrap-up thoughts with like the last couple weeks and how I've just really handled this prep is I think there's continuous growth that can happen, within anyone's journey, right? And I think when you stop thinking that you can grow is like the day you stop learning is the day that you stop, growing. And I think like just continuously taking away things from experiences, from tribulations, from trials, and just errors that you might have made in the past. Being able to reflect on that, being able to also, the big thing I would take away as well is being able to be able to like flip the perspective. Because I think a lot of times in prep, you're very like mentally kind of screwed up towards the end of prep. It helps to have the right circle around you. It helps to have people who can flip that perspective for you and turn it positive, because sometimes you're just in a negative headspace and you just need to turn it positive. But that's gonna be my wrap up thoughts as far as where I'm at in prep right now. I'll keep you guys updated over the next week or so. I'm going to be putting out some more vlogs, some more videos. I definitely want to hear you guys, like what you guys want to see more of. So let me know in the comments section below. But otherwise, that is it for me, guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.